So today, just for the as a brief catch up of the previous things, previous session. This session we have started for the software testing. It's all free training. This is my brief biodata. I'm not going to go through all this information again. Just a quick recap from my previous one. Only one thing which I want to highlight is that if anybody wants to reach me, this is my WhatsApp number or cell phone number. I'm located in Winnipeg, Canada, and you're most welcome to connect with me at any time if you need some additional guidance or counseling or mentoring about this particular topic. And future plan is to open up free sessions for other career paths also, whether it's IT or non-IT. IT means, all these things which I have personally done myself. And non-IT means something which, someone wants to go for the, let's say they want to become mortgage agent or they want to become insurance agent or immigration consultant. So whatever things I know, I'll just share all that knowledge with you. Next one, in this particular session, we are going to focus only on these two topics here. The first three topics like introduction to career as a software tester, that was covered. The first 3 points, I mean. So in this session, in the second session today, we will talk about the important terms related to software testing. So this will be helpful to you when you appear for an interview. Or, there could be so many questions, but this is mainly focused on the technical part here. I will also touch upon the point related certifications related to software testing. What are the important certifications if you want to go for those things? The last 3 topics are for the future sessions. So we will not talk about those today. And today, 4th December in Winnipeg, Canada, it's 6 p.m. Central Time here. That's what we are going to do have this session. Okay, so first of all, about the certifications offered by the different organizations. This one that is known as ISTQB, that's very much internationally recognized for the software testing part. The full form is, as you see, International Software Testing Qualifications Board. There are more organizations. This is additional one, Quality Assurance Institute, QAI. They offer these certifications which are highlighted here, certified associated in software testing. And also they have got certified software test engineer. And also I know there are various other organizations also which are offering software testing certifications, especially from HP or IBM or those big companies as well. In fact, they offer very specialized training in software testing for the advanced parts. We are not talking about the advanced parts in this complete session. So I'll stick to the foundation level, which is suggested by ISTQB. So right now, all this series is all about foundation level 2018. So foundation level, the syllabus of that we will cover to some extent. I will also guide you about writing the examination. We can have some mock questions as well. So all this discussion is based on foundation level of software testing. All this information, what I'm sharing with you, it's freely available on istqb.org website. So at any time, you can visit that site and have a look at all those contents. But for your quick reference, I will certainly post all this information in our WhatsApp group as well. Okay, so you see there are so many certifications available here. Our focus is on foundation level here. We already talked about this thing. Considering that we are not going to talk about QAI certifications, we will limit our discussion for the ISTQB only. Okay. Now, all these further slides I have taken from ISTQB foundation level syllabus. In that syllabus, it talks about what are the contents in that, what are the topics which get tested in the exam. We will also talk about what kind of questions they ask in the exam, what is the passing score, some kind of weightage given to different chapters. So I'll get back onto those topics as and when we go. So that is a very brief discussion about the software testing certifications. Now we will learn about various terminology used in the software testing part. So first of all, last time we learned about what exactly is software testing. Now we are going to learn about typical objectives here. So by that, what exactly we achieve when we do the software testing? Okay. So just as a quick brief, software testing is made up of two different words, software and testing. Software is the part which is the brain of the application, which runs the things according to our requirements. And testing means we are making sure that it's going to meet our requirements, ensuring some kind of quality in that. So here, first objective we can see here that we are preventing defects. What kind of defects? It could be related to requirements. Requirements could be so many different types. I'll touch on that topic in some other session because this is very detailed topic and I love to talk about this part about requirements. For now, we will limit our discussion to the business requirements only. Then we got user stories, design code. So basically, the overall objective is to make sure we are evaluating all these things for the software that is built. Then we want to make sure that all the specified requirements have been fulfilled. So basically, the intention of the software for why it was made for, that is completely taken care of. If not completely, but to some extent. Then we want to make sure that it's complete and validated because, okay, there's one word here, stakeholders. Stakeholders mean anybody who is directly or indirectly impacted by that software. So we want to make sure that this software is meeting all those requirements as asked by the different stakeholders. This is the biggest point here to build confidence in the level of quality of the test object. So when we say level of quality, basically it should be, when we are performing some business function, it should not just crash there. It should keep on continuing. It should keep on working. It should be functional. It should not be just crashing just like that. So we want to build some kind of confidence in the level of quality of that software. Then another objective we can say is to find defects and failures. Why we want to find defects? Because we don't want to risk our reputation. A lot of companies, you might have heard in the news when some data gets stored or some product is not behaving as expected. So in that case, the reputation of the company gets at stake, and nobody wants that. They want to make sure that their software is working as expected. Then we have all other points like, provide sufficient information to stakeholders. So a lot of times what happens, depending on the software which we are testing, there are a lot of other new projects maybe in the making. Stakeholders can make very good informed decision based on what is happening today about the quality of that product. Not only that, I think this is also a very important topic, which I missed to, I should have included almost at the top. There could be some legal requirements, regulatory requirements. I'll give you an example here. In Manitoba, there was a change in GST a couple of years ago. And if the different companies, they did not make that change in the GST calculation, they would have faced regulatory penalties. And nobody wants to get into those kind of legal situations with the provincial government. So those kind of contractual or legal or regulatory requirements, all these things must be complied. Okay, I think I have covered most of the points here. Yeah, these are the typical objectives of testing. Then we are coming to the next point here. There are a lot of terms, testing, debugging, even, I have got another one here. Let's talk about here. Testing, debugging, quality assurance, quality control, all these things are different terms. But I know a lot of us, we just use these terms interchangeably. These, you can say related, but they are not exactly the same thing. There's a difference in these terms, and I'm going to gives some information about that in here. So coming back to the testing part. So here we want to highlight what is the difference in testing and debugging. In very simple words, I will say testing is more of at the tester level, and debugging is more of the development, software development level. So the programmers, they do the debugging. They have got their own tools to do that thing. And testing is more from the quality team. I will say quality control team. So quality control and testing, they support each other very nicely. But in the next slides, I will talk more detail about these points. So as such, when we are talking about the testing and debugging, our focus in this complete session is only on the testing. When we are talking about the software testing, basically we are making sure that whatever tests, software tests which we have written, we want to prove that there are some defects in the software. That is the job of the tester, right? We cannot assume that everything is good. We have to find some or other situations where the software may break, and that is how the quality of the product will improve. So our job as a software tester is to find all those failures which are ultimately helpful in improving the quality of the software. Coming to this point, I'm just talking for the sake of discussion here because it's kind of very relevant here. So debugging is more of the development activity by the programmers. They find, they fix those defects, and basically when they fix the defect, testing team is going to make sure that all those defects are resolved in a reasonable manner to the satisfaction of the different stakeholders. I'm including this word agile because going forward, you will hear this word a lot. We will have separate session for agile, just so that we can make a connection of agile word with software development or project management or software testing or business analysis. In almost everywhere, you'll find this word agile nowadays. For now, we will just limit our discussion by saying that, regardless of what kind of life cycle we have, software development life cycle, testers may be involved in debugging, component testing, and all those things. It just depends on what kind of model they're following. So this is very brief about testing and debugging here. I'll jump a little bit here because this is a related slide. I should have put it earlier. So testing, debugging, we already talked about. Now we are going to talk about quality assurance and quality control. QA for quality assurance and C for control. So this one science termed quality management. Within quality management, we have quality assurance and quality control. It's very important to understand that quality assurance is all about processes. So this definition is very important here, that it's all the job of a quality assurance person is to make sure that everything is happening according to the processes, whatever are laid out in that company or organization. And quality control, those are the activities related to those processes. So basically, if this is a process, these are the activities within there. And what they do, basically, they make sure that the appropriate levels of quality are achieved. And all these activities support testing. In a way, now, actually, in the job postings, I have seen people look for the quality assurance analyst, QA analyst. That's very incorrect terminology. If we look at the really technical word here, yeah, they could have said quality control personnel or quality control analyst, or they could have said software tester. But calling that person as a QA analyst, that is basically more of adhering to the processes. So in a way, that term is not very correct term here. Regardless of all that, industry is very commonly using the word QA analyst. So if you are looking for a job in testing, you should be looking for all these keywords where you are looking for quality assurance analyst or software tester. And advanced level, you could have seen a performance analyst. And there could be so many different levels as well, to the lead level or manager level. Here we are talking about the foundation, that is entry level software tester. So this is, yeah, I think this is good enough for this particular part. Now coming to the 7 testing principles. Like I said, all this information is totally available in the syllabus for the ISTQB Foundation. The links to all these documents I will share in the WhatsApp group so that you have all that information handy with you, because this is going to be very useful in your exam as well. So we are going to talk about these testing principles here. First of all, I'm not going to read all this thing. I'll just say that, okay, I'm talking about point 1 and 2. You can read all these points by yourself. I'll keep my speed a little bit slow so that you have got enough time to read these statements as well. So the point 1, the first principle is, so regardless of how many test cases we have executed, if we keep on finding defects, that's very good. If we don't find any defect, even after continued testing, that does not mean there are no defects. It may also mean that the testing has become ineffective. So this is a very good point, because in the real world, there are situations where testing team says, you know, though I couldn't find any more defects. If the test manager looks at that report and they don't find any defects, it's the job of the test manager to look for whether they are executing some useless test cases, because test cases also need to be updated according to the change specifications. So that is covering our first point, that testing shows the presence of defects but not their absence, meaning that even if we don't find any defect, that may not mean that the testing, like that product is all high quality. Then exhaustive testing is impossible. Okay, this is the very good point here. Even you know, I had read one study about the defects, about the exhaustive testing. Actually, they said even the NASA software program, that is also having. It is a possibility that there could be defects there, because 100% testing is not possible. It's almost, okay, let me put it this way. Exhaustive testing is possible, but it's highly expensive and it's not required. See, what I want to say here is, we should prioritize what exactly we want to test here in the product or the software. And as long as our priorities are clear there, we can always say, okay, I have tested 95% of the software to a reasonable extent. So from that perspective, we can say, yes, we have identified high priority or high severity defects, or you know, there could be some low priority defects like some spelling mistakes and all. Every organization, they have got their own criteria to differentiate between different kind of defects. The point here is, the test manager's job is to prioritize the test efforts so that a reasonable testing has been done and reasonable number of important defects have been found. It's not necessary to do the exhaustive testing, because it's very expensive. I will extend this analogy to the same thing. You know, all of us human beings, we are not perfect. Some of us may think that we are perfect, but all of us, we know that that is not the reality. And even if we are not perfect, all of us, we are not perfect human beings, but still, there's a reasonable level of goodness in all of us. So basically speaking, it's not required to be like, you know, 100% perfect. Even if we are meeting lots of good requirements and we have got a lot of good traits, still we can be a reasonably good human being. I hope this analogy made sense. Then the third principle is, when we do the early testing, it saves time and money. So basically, we have taught earlier also, if we find the defects earlier, that means in the software development life cycle, then it's easy to fix those things. It takes less resources to fix those. I will give an example. Consider the product is already in the warranty phase. So warranty means it's already in the production, everything is going fine, and at that time there are defects found. So basically, At that time, the team may have been, totally not in place at that time. And the project manager has to find someone who can fix that defect. And that may prove very expensive as well. And moreover, not only expensive, the wrong impact on the customer it's going to cause, that is also not good. So we should make sure that the testing is done as early as possible and keep on continuing as we go into different phases. Fourth one is basically the meaning of cluster. It just tells about, there is that 80-20 rule. In that 80-20 rule, what they say, like if I apply that 80-20 principle to that software testing, I can easily say 80% of defects may be lying in 20% of the software. So basically, we are identifying a cluster where there could be more defects. Okay. So in that one, if that cluster is identified, our testing efforts can stay focused on that particular part of the software. Beware of the pesticide paradox. Okay. So pesticide paradox, they have included this word. It's more of, when we use the pesticide on the crops, ultimately after some iterations, that pesticide becomes ineffective. Not only that, we know the example of mosquitoes. Every time mosquitoes come up with new generation, those are immune to the previous whatever things we have in place. So same way, if we keep on executing same test cases again and again, it may not be useful enough, because if all those previous test cases are not revealing any new defect, then it's of no use. So basically, it's similar to what we talked about, pesticide paradox here. Next one, testing is context dependent. So context dependent means what exactly is important for that particular software. If it is for the, let's say for the industrial control software, then safety is very important there. For the e-commerce application, money part or transaction part, that is very important there. For Amazon kind of thing, they might look at so many different aspects, like, payment method, shipping, any coupon application, all those things. So depending on what is more important in that particular software piece, we need to identify that context and have test cases according to that context. So absence of error, that the last point I'm looking at is a fallacy. What we want to talk about here is that sometimes people think that if we have got like so many defects and we keep on fixing all those defects, then our system will be perfect. The quick answer is no, not exactly, because more number of defects, that is just showing us that there are a lot of problems which are already there. Those need to be fixed, and even if those are fixed, does not mean that there is no other error still sitting there. So these 7 testing principles I have tried to cover in very briefly here. The details you will find in the actual book, which I'll share with you from ISTQB. Then the next point, test activities and tasks. Okay, it's very important because now we are getting into a little bit more details. And like I promised that I'll be talking about a lot of terminology here. The thing which I have not included here, that's a test plan. So test plan has got all the information, mainly that could be prepared by a senior professional in the team. That person could be test manager or business analyst. They prepare the test plan, and within that test plan, they have got a lot of things here. All these different main groups of activities are listed down here in this list. So test planning. The very first thing, because we want to identify what exactly we want to do, what kind of testing we want to do, what kind of environment which we will have there. I wish I had some example with me, some real-time example which I could share with you. I don't have that, but at least this will give you some context about what are the different main groups of activities here. So first part is test planning. The planning is done there. Then we got monitoring and control. Basically in monitoring and control, we want to make sure that the things are going according to the plan. And if it is deviating from there, then there should be some mechanism in place to bring that testing effort back to the track. There are a lot of techniques to make sure that to control the test efforts. Those are beyond the scope of this certification, so I will not touch upon that. All those fall under quality management, and this is a very vast subject which I may cover in any of my next sessions. Test analysis. So this analysis is done just like we do the requirement analysis, business analysis. Similarly, we got the test analysis. We analyze the requirements and accordingly, not only analyze, we also prioritize those things and make sure that what are the high priority requirements, what are the medium and low priority requirements. So basically that kind of analysis is there. Then comes the test design part. So in the test design, it's a very detailed part here where actually most of the time testers, they spend in this part here. I should add that. So tester is going to design the test case, meaning they are identifying what are the prerequisites, what is the test objective, what they want to achieve in this particular test case. Not only that, what are the steps to execute that, what is the expected result, is any environment requirement there, is any test data requirement there. All those things get identified here in the test design. There's the very clear template available online, freely available. If your organization needs those kind of things, there are a lot of templates available online. But because our purpose is sticking to the certification, so I won't touch on that point. Then comes the test implementation. Just 1 second, please. Okay. So coming back, test implementation, meaning that, did I get the message? Let me check. Okay. Test implementation. In that, whatever the test cases those are written, that it's time to implement those, and then test execution. Basically, executing means we are performing all those test steps, and we are recording our test efforts. That okay, this step was performed, and if the test case is not meeting the expected result, we consider that as a failed test case. And if it is good, then we say we mark that as a passed test case. And in the final test report, that is basically a consolidation of information that how many test cases were executed, how many passed, how many failed, if there was any test criteria, like acceptance criteria, did we meet that acceptance criteria or not in regards to the testing. And test completion is what I told just now. At the end of the test efforts, we make sure that all those efforts are recorded properly for the management as well as for the quick summary for the team. I hope this makes sense. I'm assuming that a lot of you might be coming from the software background already, but if not, still the discussion what we had just now, it should give you some idea about it. And again, my focus is just for you so that you can pass the foundation level exam, nothing more than that. Okay, this is a very good point because a lot of time we keep on thinking about who can become a good tester, right? Although last time also we talked about this point. In here, psychology of testing we are talking about, there are different mindsets. I'm not going to read all those points here, but just for your knowledge, tester has a different psychology, right? By that I mean, there's a different mindset. It's basically finding the fault, I mean defect, as well as conveying that to the development team in a very neutral manner, so that it's not, they don't feel that the tester is attacking that person. So we don't want to offend anybody also. So it's a very neutral kind of discussion happening there. So in this one, we are reminding that our goal is collaboration. We don't want to get into fights with other people, other team members. Our goal is to do collaboration. And we have to remind everybody that our goal, our common goal is to make a product which has got very high quality. That's the whole objective. I'm not sure where I'm getting all these messages. Is it from my cell phone or what? Hold on. Okay. I don't see any message here in the chat, so I assume it's from somewhere else. Then, okay, so first point we talked about that the whole objective for the full team, that is for the better quality software. That is the whole objective here. Then further, we want to make sure that all those defects are properly communicated, all the test results are found, those are documented in a neutral and fact-focused way, right? We don't want to criticize any person who created the item because that is not that's not the point here. As a tester, my job is not to find fault in that person. It's more of finding the fact-focused thing and documenting in a neutral way. Not only neutral way, but also our defect should be logged in a way so that if other person tries to reproduce that defect, they should be able to reproduce by following all those points. Okay, so try to understand how the other person feels and reasons they may react negatively to the information. So whole point is all these points are trying to tell us about psychology of testing. I can cover all those points by saying all of us, we need to work in a collaborative work environment, not in a fault-finding kind of thing, in a person or something. Whatever you do it in a neutral manner and make it fact-based. And not only that, no need to criticize any person. So that point is totally gone out. Here we are talking about the testers and developers' mindsets. In this one, the mindset is totally different. Developers is having different mindset, and here I'm pointing out the tester's mindset. That person we talked about last time also. What are the effective qualities which make a person a good and effective software tester? Yeah, they should have curiosity. They should have logical thinking, attention to detail. They should have good communication. They should be good at building relationships. So basically all those points are there. So Avinash Yadav has asked one question. Why would someone want to reproduce a defect? Because tester's job is to find the defect, and those defects get assigned to the development team, to the developer, to the programmer. And programmer may become defensive by saying that, oh, this defect does not exist. So tester is going to help him out or her out by providing all those steps so that the developer can also reproduce that defect. That way, their debugging becomes easier and they are able to fix that defect. I hope I answered your question, Avinash. Next one. Okay. Okay, good. Welcome. Okay. So coming to we got only last 6 minutes here, so I'll cover this point. Now that our intention of this complete session is to prepare you for the ISTQB foundation level certificate, this information I got from their website. The whole point which we want to make sure, even if you ignore the previous all these points here, what I want to point out here is this bottom table, the module that is called Certified Tester Foundation Level. That is the certification course, which we'll be focusing on all the time. Unless, there might be some advanced professionals sitting in this discussion, I may conduct some advanced level discussions for them at a separate level. There are 40 questions in this, all multiple choice questions, and there is no negative marking. 1 point is good. That means you get 1 mark for that. Minimum passing score is 65%. Basically, you need to clear 26 questions out of those 40 questions. 60 minutes exam length. And you see this exam length plus 25% in minutes. Actually, I didn't know about this point. When I was reading about this in the details here, so I came across that if someone does not have English as their first language, they get some additional time for that. So anyways, most of us, I guess, we are able to understand and write exam in English. So this will not apply to most of us. So consider that you are writing this exam in 60 minutes and the passing score is 26 correct questions out of 40. Okay, so that's all in this. I'm just going to make sure that I did not miss any particular slide here. Okay, yeah, this is good. So I guess we are sticking to our time frame as well, 40-minute session here. Any questions, please write in the chat box. I'll try my best to respond to those. Or if you want to put your speaker on, you're welcome to put that on and just talk directly. If you click the participants button in here, you'll see that raise hand. You can raise hand so that at least I know that someone has got a question to ask, and then I'll wait for that question.
So these are all the certifications, all these foundation level 2018, foundation level usability testing.
That's correct. So all these different certifications are offered by ISTQB. And we are talking about only the first one, that is foundation level 2018. But you see, there are so many, more than 10 certifications sitting there. All those have different focus. But this course is designed only for the foundation level because my intention is just to give you basic information. But if a lot of people show interest in a particular certification, I may take that one as well in future.
So it's how we go, like we do the first one and then we move down?
No. There's no sequence for that. No.
There's no sequence?
There's no sequence. So depending on what kind of work you're performing at your job, you may go for that particular certification. And also, just like, there's expert level. So basically, these kind of things require certain expertise in the testing profession. Then only you are eligible to write this certification.
So expert level includes the manual testing and both automation, or it's just the manual testing?
Okay. I haven't seen the syllabus of expert level, but I can always put the relevant syllabus in the chat in our WhatsApp group so that information will be good for others as well. I'm not sure about this one.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. So we got 1 or 2 minutes with us. Any other question? If not, then we are good to go for the next session next week. Okay, I don't see any other hand raised, so I guess good for now. Thank you very much for your presence and keep sharing your feedback with me as a private message.
Hello?
Yes, hi.
Hi, sorry, someone asked a question in the chat room.
Oh,
so
I didn't see. Thanks for that.
Yeah,
what courses should be pursued after grade 12 to take up software testing? Okay. I will say, instead of courses, whatever I'm teaching you right now, even if you go through that ISTQB foundation material and you get the foundation certificate, that should be good enough. So there is no university course or college course or something like that. But I know there are a lot of websites like Udemy or YouTube. You will find a lot of material there. If you want to confuse yourself, you can go for all those things. But my approach is very simple. You just go through these sessions and it should be all good. So in short, there is no specific course and all. If you just follow the syllabus offered by ISTQB, that is good enough. And Sandeep, if we have foundation level 2018 pass, then are we able to apply for job? Yeah, because, just consider when the job applicants, one person has the certificate, other does not have. In my eyes, I will hire the person who has got the certificate. Why? Because at least that person having certificate has got some basic knowledge of the terminology. So that's the reason I will take that person. It's just like, any other university certificate as well. Someone has got degree with them, that person becomes preferable. It's a different story that maybe non-degree holder may know better. It's quite possible, right? Some college dropout may know better. That's certainly possible. But these kind of certificates just prepared us for the job. That's all. I hope I answered to your satisfaction, Sandeep. So I don't see any other question. And I'm going to stop this session now. I'll upload the session on YouTube and post in our group as well. Thank you very much for your time. If there's anything else you want me to include in the sessions, please keep on telling me, and I'll make sure that I include in the next one. Thank you. Have a nice time. Bye.